Welcome back to the NFT Talks podcast. My name is Sean and we're back with another amazing episode. Today we have a great guest. She is the Senior Vice President, Head of Marketing America of Christies Auction House. Her name is Neda Whitney. She's kindly come on to speak about just Christies' involvement with the NFT marketplace. So Christies is an established auction house. They're known for selling exclusive, fine art, luxury items, and they've moved into the NFT space. Now, they're also responsible for the sale of Beeple, who is Michael Winkelmann, who sold his piece for $69.3 million. Now, we're going to talk about that in a bit more depth and we'll go into the details, but we're also going to talk about what else is going on in the NFT space, what Christies are looking to do, how they're looking to grow in the space, and also just talking about the NFT space in general and what's next. So guys, make sure you leave your comments below. Make sure you leave your feedback, subscribe, share, and let's help build this community. Okay, so guys, welcome back to NFT Talks. I'm here with another amazing guest. I'm happy to have her on. She's been named top 50 influencers in the NFT space by Fortune magazine. She's the Senior Vice President, Head of Marketing of America's Christies. Neda Whitney, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Sean. So excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming and taking the time out today. Let's jump straight into it. I don't like to hold back.
Let's do it.
I want to know, actually, first of all, I want to know a bit about yourself, introduction into the NFT space, and because I know that you haven't been at Christies for what is quite new, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. So I joined Christies in the beginning of this year, and it is my first foray into what we call client side. Back when I worked on the agency side, I've been in the advertising agency world for about 20 years at all sorts of different types of agencies in New York, San Francisco, London, and Paris. And when I got a call from Christies, it's kind of one of those calls you cannot refuse. Such an exciting time to join art and auction. NFTs notwithstanding, because it hadn't really become a thing until March of this year for us. But knowing that digital transformation had been accelerated because of COVID, much like every other brand out there, we were also forced to scrap a very methodical roadmap and accelerate all of our digital efforts. And knowing that was going on, knowing that we were interested in getting into cryptocurrency and different spaces. And just the work that Christies does is so varied. It's so exciting. As a marketer, I say it's a gift to be able to market these rare and exclusive objects. So it was super exciting for me. And then I joined, and then we started having really, really in-depth conversations about, let's do some sales with crypto. Let's talk about NFTs. And then I don't think anyone could have anticipated the results that we got with our first NFT sale. Super exciting, $69.3 million, kind of a watershed moment in the NFT marketplace. So then we were off to the races.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that, talking about people's sale. But I mean, have you got a background in crypto or anything like that, or were you brought in for that case? It was just literally timing.
No, I mean, I have spent the last 6 years of my career at a digital agency called RGA and working on really blue chip clients in the digital and innovation space. But crypto was not my background and NFTs were not my background. I wouldn't say, in the art and auction world, I wouldn't say they're really anyone's background. I think we're all kind of learning it alongside each other. And what it takes is a passion and an insatiable curiosity and the ability to kind of, learn the next thing, learn, innovate, iterate, be curious, be willing to kind of change along the way. And that's the approach we've taken.
I think that's, you hit the nail on the head there, is that it's so new to everybody. Everyone's learning as they go along. And it's nice to be a part of the space because everybody's talking to each other, because you can learn something every day. Like, I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot from you today. The more people I speak to, the more I learn. So it's so important to speak to each other and experiment, and obviously having you guys involved as such a big establishment too, it's going to bring the right eyes and attention to the space. So I'm excited. But what I do want to hear about, Neda, is I want you to explain what an NFT is. The reason why I'm asking you, I don't ask everybody, but I've heard you explain what an NFT is before. Very articulate the way you explain it, and I'd love for you to have that, obviously, to explain it to our audience of what an NFT is in your own words.
Sure, you got it. So I'm sure your audience is well versed in NFTs as a non-fungible token, but the way I try and explain it at its lowest common denominator is it's a unique digital certificate stored on the blockchain, and it provides ownership rights for an asset. Typically, that asset is a digital one, and typically when we're talking about it at Christie's, it's a digital work of art. Although our first NFT that we ever sold was associated with a physical form of art. And I know that outside of the world of Christie's, people are ascribing NFTs to experiences, to sports, to other types of collectibles. We sold an NFT of a recipe with Marcus Samuelsson not too long ago at our Art and Tech Summit. So the NFT is the underlying technology. I think it gets conflated a little bit with the digital art world because that's when it really burst onto the scene. But really, it's that security on the blockchain technology for the certificate of ownership when we say the words NFT and non-fungible token.
Okay, and you obviously talked about a bit on the physical side, so it's not, a lot of people get the impression that it's just all digital, but obviously you guys have also sold physicals along with the digitals.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask about is let's jump straight into like a few of these sales. Obviously, the Beeple was a moment, I'd still say a moment in history. I mean,
yeah,
I was in the NFT space before that, but it was that moment when that sale hit. I was just like, what's going on? Like, I've never ever seen anything sell a piece of art, never on a piece of art sell for that much money. And
yeah.
from your background in regards to art selling and whatnot, have you ever seen anything like this?
I mean, I think it's the third highest result for a living artist. So it is rare. It's there's no pretending that was a run-of-the-mill moment in art history for any type of artist using any type of medium. And I do, there's a lot of people that question our entry into digital art. And the way I say it is, we've moved from paintbrushes to pixels, and it's just a different oeuvre. Similarly to, when watercolors became a thing, performance art, there's so many different types of art. And I think it is our duty as stewards of the art community at Christie's to open up new platforms when the community tells us that there are new platforms to celebrate. And that's just what we've been doing with digital art, and we'll continue to kind of expand as long as our community is open and interested to that expansion.
You talked about performance of art. What's your thoughts on? I'm not sure if do you just see the burnt Banksy performance?
Yes.
So what was your thoughts on that? Because that's art in the real world, and they're performing it to obviously show that NFTs have got that value in a way. So what's your thoughts on what happened there?
Listen, I think there's a lot happening in the NFT space right now, and everyone is trying to see like how far can we push it, and what are the social commentaries that we can associate with it. I think it's Damien Hirst is doing something where you can kind of play with the definition of art and the ascription of value to a tangible and an intangible thing. And I think that's the interesting conversations that NFTs are bringing to the forefront. Art is subjective. There's no denying that. And art is as valuable as the community around it decides to ascribe value to it. So I think with NFTs, you're bringing in this technological aspect and you're bringing in this kind of performance art aspect to it. And so you can get a little bit more fluid with the definitions of art and the tensions between the artists and the viewership or the clientele, which is, it's exciting. It's fun. It's a new frontier to explore.
Let's move on to, I want to hear about the introduction, the transition to Christie's, moving into the NFT space. Like, when did you actually catch wind of this? And what are the conversations being had behind closed doors to lead into the Beeple sale? Like, what goes on? Like, how does this come about?
Yeah, so, Mike Winkelmann, aka Beeple, is a very established artist. He started in February of 2007, creating a single digital work of art every day. And for anyone, that is a huge commitment to their craft and to art. Ultimately, he created this magnum opus of 5,000 digital artworks, and they reflected society's conflicted relationship with technology and wealth. There was a lot of social commentary involved. We had partners at Maker's Place that helped introduce us to him based on his prolific reputation in the community. So I think whether or not you, agree with his style, agree with digital art, you can respect the commitment that he's had to his craft. And I think the community around him had really grown with him and had really kind of said that this is someone that we want to elevate and that we want to create a platform for. So after we spoke to him, after we saw his dedication, it made a lot of sense for us to partner with him for our first foray into the space.
Did you anticipate that was, I mean, it was going to go for that much though? I mean, what was
No way.
talks?
No way. Anyone who tells you that is lying. I mean, I think we all had really high hopes for it, but all of us, whether we were listening to it on Clubhouse or, we have different apps that we all had open. And I think everyone was like, oh my God, there was another bid. It was super exciting. And I don't think any of us would have picked this number for it to sell at. I think we were all really excited about the prospects, but it was uncharted territory. No one really knew what the value was for NFTs. No one really knew what the community was going to support. And so, I think we were all pleasantly surprised by the ultimate result.
So what conversations I had once a sale? I mean, we know we've got the video of Beeple like in his living room, like, oh my God, but what's happening at Christies at that point? And when that goes for that much, what's everyone saying? What are the conversations? Everyone like, what do we need to do now? What's next, kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, that was the conversation. What's next? Because I think we had high hopes and we wanted to see how our first try out of the gate went. And then with the amazing success, we were all turning immediately to what's next? What's the next artist? What's the next endeavor? How do we make sure that we continue to support the community? I think the community around digital art and NFTs and crypto was so excited to be offered such a really established platform to sell on. And I say that because, the Christies brand has over 250 years of heritage, and we are known for selling the finest, the most exclusive, the rarest, the most covetable. So when we gave that platform to an artist like Beeple and the result was as astounding as it was, we immediately need to think of who's the next artist or what's the next collaboration that will continue in that trend. And so we immediately started to dig back into the community and see what's next and who's next.
And was that Fewocious, the next person? Up to the...
No, the next person was Cryptopunks.
Okay, but then that's funny you say that who's the next artist, because I wouldn't consider Cryptopunk myself as a piece of art. It's obviously the PFP project, a collectible, but is it a piece of art? I don't know. Like so that's why I wouldn't consider it. But okay, so tell me a bit more about that, because it's generated, isn't it? It's not a drawing. It's
right. I mean, we worked with Cryptopunks. We got a huge result for them, around 17 million. We sold some work with the Andy Warhol Foundation, which was some of his early drawings on the Amiga computers. We sold an NFT of Emily Ratajkowski, kind of reclaiming the Richard Prince image of her. So we really went into a lot of different forms of NFTs. I think the Fewocious work, was a really passionate project for a lot of us because of his message and his story, really talking about his transition over a number of years and how that emotionally translated into digital and physical art. We worked with Lady Phoenix, a really amazing curator, to curate a selection called Proof of Sovereignty, which was really talking about the ability for an artist to reclaim their sovereignty in the space, in the digital art space. And that was a curated collection. We sold NFTs from Gucci and a number of different artists and collaborators in that. We worked with and Super Plastics on a Janky and Googymon drop. So we've really gone into a lot of different art collectibles, portraits, all of it.
So how do you pick? Like, that's what I'm interested about. How do because I'm sure there's a lot of artists out there thinking, okay, then how do I get into Christies? I mean, what do I have to have?
See my Instagram DMs.
Yeah, exactly. So as I'm sure that it's a bit more complicated than just answering just straightforward here. But I mean, what are you looking for? Like, is it the community? What is it?
Yeah, it's the $69 million question, right? Yeah. We are looking for a community. I think what we've found performs best is art that has a community around it, and that really fits into that covetable, collectible, rare, exclusive, and also story driven. You know, I think what made Fewocious so exceptional, I think we did a sale with Micah Johnson, who's doing this really beautiful series around Aku and his nephew asking, you know, can a Black person be an astronaut? I think we've worked with Mad Dog Jones, people who really have a community and are telling a story from a point of view, and are digitally native is really important to us in our selection process. We've had a lot of opportunities that we've questioned, why would this be an NFT? You know, we're not doing NFTs for NFT's sake. Why would this particular piece be a non-fungible token? And that's incredibly important to us, and we take that really seriously.
So who, I mean, I guess it's all your sales are done online with the NFTs, yeah?
Yeah.
Who's buying? I mean, I guess you can't say who's buying it, but I mean, what I would ask is your current audience or your clientele that you have before, they're not used to buying this, I'm assuming. So how do you educate them or transfer them over to this? Or is it new? Have you got a new audience now, or what is it? Like, who's buying these things, and how's it working?
Yeah, the audience is different. We've had over 400 new people kind of bid and buy in NFT sales. Our NFT audience is around 13 years younger than our typical audience, which is really exciting for us, you know, as a firm that is so dedicated to art and object and really getting new people excited about the auction world and the culture that we bring to the space. New audiences is something that we're absolutely thrilled about. I think we do have a very serious role in educating people about NFTs, whether it's panels or through our Christies education arm. We do a lot of client outreach to make sure that people just kind of, that we demystify it for people. It's a new space. It's a new space for everyone. And we're all kind of listening to the same 15 podcasts like this one, hoping to get smarter and hoping to get more intel on how to feel confident and comfortable in the space. We take that role really seriously. Recently, we did an art and tech summit where we had over 100 people in person and thousands of people registered online, where we spent the first half of the day really talking about NFTs from all the different angles. We had NFTs in art law. We had NFTs with creators, with curators, NFTs in entertainment, in fashion, in gaming. We had Mike Novogratz talk about cryptocurrency. So really trying to be thought leaders in this space so that our clients, current clients, and future clients feel comfortable transacting and collecting.
Yeah, I think that's important, and I think that's a great approach by yourselves, because I feel that is two people. There's people that embrace NFTs and the people that don't understand it and are like, "What is this? This is you just can copy this, you can sell it." You know, the typical the typical line. So I think the education part is needed, because also education of how to buy NFTs and that side of it, because it's not straightforward, and
it's
things
not
can go wrong.
but it's not hard.
No,
is what I would say.
No, it isn't.
You know, everyone gets really like nervous about, like, I have to open this MetaMask wallet, and then I have to like buy this and that. It's like 3 clicks. You know, I encourage people to just do it, because it feels intimidating until you've done it, and then you're like, that wasn't that hard. And what I would say to the people that are like, I could screenshot this, is, you know, I live in New York City. You can go to Washington Square Park and buy a poster of the Mona Lisa. That doesn't mean you own the Mona Lisa, right? So it's, you know, again, art is subjective, and this is about ownership, and you're either going to get it or you're not, and you don't have to be into it. But I think it's legitimate. And I would also encourage people, there's a lot, we talked about it at the start of this conversation about the community and about learning. The community around NFTs is amazing. Everyone is so welcoming and so open and really wants to learn from each other and celebrate each other. And I think engaging in that community on whatever channel you're comfortable with, whether that's Twitter or Discord or, you know, listening to the podcasts, it really does make a difference. And I think it's also, you know, this is right now, Gary Vee, who I really respect and has jumped into a lot of spaces, talks a lot about NFTs. And he posted something recently that said, this is like when apps were first launching. And at first everyone was like, these are kind of silly. I can like get the weather from other places. Why do I need a weather app? And now we all like can't survive without weather app and map apps and everything else. But there's a lot of apps that failed, and not everything is going to be the next Uber, but some things will be. So, buyer beware, but do your research and really find the thing that speaks to you. And that's the thing that if you want to invest in, that you should.
Yeah, I agree. I see Gary Vee putting out a lot of important content out there for the realistic side of it. Is there's a lot of things going on, and as we go on, there's going to be a lot more projects out there and art to buy, and you just got to be mindful. And education is the way forward.
Yeah,
we totally say this in everyday life. That should be your approach anyway. So
it's no different.
The NFT space is no different if you spend money.
I feel like it can be intoxicating, right? There's so much discussion about like, oh, the floor for this, and oh, I bought this and sold it for this, and now I'm buying a house. And, a lot of money is changing hands right now, but it's just being smart with, what your risk tolerance is. And it very much like any other investment in asset class.
Yeah, it moves on to my next thing is I remember being in the clubhouse when the Bored Apes was just being minted, and I didn't do it. I don't know why. I've been going
regret.
I guess it is regret, and I still haven't brought one to this day. But obviously it's taken off. It's done amazing, and obviously you guys are now getting involved with it. Well, Christies Asia are getting involved with the Bored Apes. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we are selling Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs, as well as some Cryptopunks and Meebits, which is Larva Labs' latest creation. That sale is going to happen in Asia on September 17th. It'll be the first NFT sold in sale in Asia. The sale is titled No Time Like Present. It's very exciting. I think it's also the first time that Bored Ape Yacht Club and Meebits will be offered outside of an NFT trading platform. So it's a big moment for them and for us. And, we're excited about that sale. Our Asia team is super excited about that sale and can't wait to see how it performs in a few weeks.
That's great, man. Do you have to collaborate with marketplaces then when you're selling it, or Christy, are you in the process of building your own marketplace? Is that something you're going to do in the future?
I think right now we're collaborating with marketplaces mainly. I think that's our current approach.
All right. So the next thing I want to ask is, we're talking digital, we're talking about the future, we're seeing all these things happen. I want to talk about virtual galleries versus obviously your traditional auction houses. I mean, do you guys have a virtual gallery, or are you moving in that space?
So we have online virtual experiences. So you can kind of go through an exhibition, and we'll have an online format for that where you can see the art, you can click through, you can understand more about the art, you can walk through the exhibition space. And our clients have found that really valuable during COVID. It's interesting. I think people weren't sure how our client base would engage, but over 90% of our traditional client base has started engaging with us digitally. And we have 42% more bidders in our online sales year to date than we have prior. So our clients are really adopting these digital tools. And whether for us, it's virtual skyboxes that we have during our auctions, or the virtual experiences, or we have AR tools where you can take a piece of art or a piece of sculpture and put them in situ to either, play with it, or to see how it might look if you're not able to get into the galleries. So I think our clients have been really open and really excited about those digital tools.
But do you see you guys moving into the metaverses and that side of it? Because I'm sure that's going to be a transition when there's going to be more and more say auction museums or auction houses opening up in them places.
Yeah.
And then as it goes on, more people are going to be almost spending their time in them places. I'm guessing you're going to have to move with the times like you are now. So is that
we're all about moving with the times. We're definitely having some discussions. Our art and tech conference was streamed into the metaverse. So we've, dipped our toe in the water. But I think more to come. Watch this space.
Okay. So keep not too much information there, not too much. So talk to me. What about your experience? Have you bought any NFTs yourself?
Yeah, I've been gifted a few, and I love the ones that I have.
Okay, are you willing to talk about any you got, or any of them?
No.
Okay, keeping it tight.
Me on my ETH address.
All right then. Okay, cool. So apart from that, PFP projects, any of them you're looking at there that you feel that you're interested in, that are kind of bringing a bit of attention?
Listen, I mean, I think they're all super fascinating. I think there's, I want to say it's called Women of the World NFTs
Yes,
that I
I
think are
had a feeling you were
really,
going to say that. That one's
yeah,
getting
that
a
are
lot of
really
attention. Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah,
I think the work that obviously Bored Ape Yacht Club and Meebits and Larva Labs
yeah.
and Dapper Labs, they're all doing really cool stuff. I think it's just going to be a matter of what we think the community continues to have appetite for us. But personally, I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of beautiful art being created out there. And I love seeing those creator communities really being elevated to a higher level.
Okay, and do you feel like Christies are just going to keep it at the art side of it, because we know NFTs is just, I mean, art is just touching the tip of the iceberg. We're talking about tickets, we're talking about events, we're talking about there's so much things we can do with NFTs these days. So, do you think that Christies are going to adopt more and more of the NFT way? And
I do actually. We have our first ever design NFT that's currently on sale with Misha
okay,
Khan, and it's a 3D model that's kind of there's a video created around it, and
mhm.
then we've NFT'd frames of the video, and we're also going to the owners of the lots can 3D print the lots as well, which is
Okay,
super exciting. And Misha Khan has already kind of put together one fully printed piece that's in our galleries right now that's gorgeous. So that's really exciting. It's the first ever design NFT. And, I think we're probably going to see it more happening. We're partnering with Justin Versano right now
okay.
for a photographic NFT collection as well. So yeah, I don't think it's just going to be digital art. I think we're starting to broaden the aperture.
What are you excited about industry wise? I mean, obviously we're going to say art is going to be the first. But what else? Is there anything else? Are you excited about music and NFTs? Are you excited about the gaming side of it? Or
I mean, there's so much out there. We had John Linden from Mythical Games on our
yeah,
panel at the Art and Tech Summit. And obviously in their game, they partnered with Burberry and
Burberry.
it sold like hotcakes. And so that's really exciting for me to see. I come from a fashion background, so I really love seeing what the fashion space is doing. I think, I'm really good friends with the folks over at One Of. I think they have interesting
Yeah,
potential for the musical NFT space. Obviously, sports NFTs kind of took off early on, and it's been interesting to see how that's evolving. And listen, I think there's so many more practical applications for NFTs. Like we're all carrying around these, physical copies of COVID vaccination cards or a digital photo app that's housing them. Why aren't those NFT'd on the blockchain? Why is our birth certificate, our marriage certificate,
yes, yeah,
all of these important social security cards, all these important scraps of paper that we're constantly like losing and laminating and being like, what drawer is that in? Like those in my mind should be on the blockchain. So I think there's a lot of other real world applications for the technology and exciting kind of art and experience opportunities as well.
yeah. I mean, I'm really excited. You touched on it. Is about the fashion side of it. Is digital fashion. I feel that's going to
Yeah.
be extremely exciting. Just it's completely different. I mean, I know some people frown upon it, and obviously you got digital. Why would somebody buy a digital clothing? But if you're going to be in the metaverse, there will be a need for it, and we have avatars, and we
Yeah.
express ourselves in gaming. It's already happening to a certain extent, and it's going to create a whole new ecosystem. I mean, I've got a bit of background in manufacturing in clothing, and the process and the time it goes into actually making the clothes, to the point where if you were a digital first brand, and it would take you have less limitations, it's environmentally friendly, and
Yeah.
you can do a lot more. And then if you do want to put physicals in the later, you can.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Like this has been happening in gaming for decades, and I think there's absolutely applications for it in the metaverse, in gaming. There's also, when you think about it, social media is doing more and more like filters and lenses and all of that. I
Yeah.
went out last night, I wore a dress. Now I can't wear it again because it's on social media. I mean, I probably could, but ladies will do what ladies will do. And thinking of a digital outfit like
Mm.
that feels like a really easy transition from gaming in the metaverse into everyday use cases that I think a lot of people would be interested in. So I do get really excited about the fashion applications. I do think the sustainability message around that is a really exciting one. And I think, it's an area that I'm going to wait and see.
Yeah, I did see an example of a t-shirt where they had kind of a QR code on there. And when you scan the QR code, it gave you different designs each day.
Yeah.
So in the real world, you'd have a plain t-shirt, but in the digital world, where you're seeing, you'd have a different t-shirt every day, which I thought was quite cool. And it's
super cool. And I think Artifact, what was it?
Yeah.
A little while ago, sold all those digital sneakers in minutes for like over $3 million. So I think people will want it. There is a collectible nature to digital fashion, just as there is to physical fashion and to streetwear and to hype. And so I think it's definitely going to be a place that continues to evolve.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, like, thank you for your time. I'm like, we've touched on so many things today. I'm excited to see what Christies is bringing to the table next. You're very involved in NFT space. You are contributing, which is amazing, and you're doing it the right way, I'd say. Because there's a lot of obviously people that were coming to the space, and I feel that they don't take the right approach. But I think you guys have carefully looked at the space and doing things in a positive way, so it's only going to help.
I appreciate that. We try. Thank you so much for having me, Sean. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. Let's keep in touch. Hope to get you on soon when you do more amazing things.
Sounds great.